What up, guys? I know I kind of ended the last video right here, but it's actually a different day now. It's 7 a.m. I went to bed at like 12:30, so I'm still kind of tired, but I'm looking up everything I possibly can for this oil feed line, and I feel like I found a place in my area that can make one for me. I hope. I'm freaking out. I am freaking out because if I don't have this, I'm not going to be able to have it for a while, and the car needs to go now. Brittany needs to be able to drive this thing. That's the #1 goal. Now, it'd be cool to get it to these meetups that I'm going to, but that's the #1 goal here is Brittany be able to drive this thing next week. If you can't tell, I am like super stressed over this. I've never been so... I don't get stressed over anything. So after going from like 3 to 4 places today, we finally got it. A place called Crown Performance in Vista, hooking us up.
Anything you want, as long as you don't film.
This is the line that actually does not work for our car. We're getting a new one made right now.
You know, and it keeps your oil cool. It's insulated.
Yeah.
So
that's a lot better.
Yeah.
Worked out. So what I picked up from Napa is 10 feet long of 1/8 inch vacuum hose. We are going to run that for the boost gauge. I think we're going to tee it off of here possibly. We do have the blow off valve going here, and then we're going to put the boost gauge right here. The vacuum hose that came with the boost gauge isn't long enough to go all the way through and make it there. So see, the end is like right here. So we got to make it happen. Also, again, we got this really oil feed line that's going to go into the turbo. I'm going to test fit it right now and see if it happens. Also, this HKS filter we are not going to be using. It's simply because it does not fit on the turbo. We are going to be using a different filter that I got off coming from Amazon. So if anyone wants to pick this up from me, they definitely can. It's a knockoff. It is not a real HKS filter, but it looks exactly the same. Yeah. So this is one of the fittings right now. The fitting size that goes into the block is an M10 by 1.5, and the other side is a -4AN. And this side goes into the block down right in here. So there is the fitting on it. Now we're going to put the end of this bad boy right here. We're going to spin it on there, and then we're going to put this side on the oil feed side, which is right here. Okay, next problem. When I mount that turbo, the external wastegate gets caught right here on the block. So what I'm going to do is chop this off, and then hopefully it fits. So there it is, chopped off. I did get a little bit of the other side of the engine, but it doesn't really matter at all. It's chopped off, so now the external wastegate will fit. This is the part that got yeeted. So when the turbo gets mounted now, which it is, this little bell-looking thing on the external wastegate actually fits now with it mounted. Now what we're going to do is find some studs that fit the exhaust manifold, and then put the studs on and turbo on. So before I run back to the store, I want to mount this boost gauge to make sure I don't need anything else. So what I got from the store initially is some vacuum line that is going to be teeing off from here through this white canister down here, through the firewall on the driver's side. Then I'm going to take this hose, put it up behind there, and then we're going to mount the thing right there, and eventually I'm going to fab up a plate to make it fit right there with the AEM one. So this is kind of how it's going to look. The vacuum line's hooked up right there, so it'll read the boost, and then I got to wire up the ground and the power to somewhere, probably where I did it last time with the wideband O2 sensor. Haul number 5,645 at Napa Auto Parts. We got us a little bit of electrical tape. We got ourselves a little bit of wire products so we can mount the ground on the boost gauge. We can mount the ground on the boost gauge on a bolt, and then we got these 4 nuts and these 6 studs. The studs are going to fit into the exhaust manifold to the turbo. We might have to chop some of them down because obviously that's way too big for the turbo, and it's simply not going to fit. Tomorrow in the mail I'm getting some couplers for the intake as well as the intercooler piping, so that should work there, and then at that point we're going to bolt it all together and tune it. The studs that were right here and right here were too long and they were hitting the turbo, so we're gonna chop about half of this off and see if it fits. These two are perfectly fine just because the housing isn't in the way, but the ones on the right need to be chopped. So here's how it looks right now. You can definitely tell the two different stud sizes. We're gonna see if the turbo actually fits on now. It mounts perfectly, I think. All right, so we got this crap 17, right? It's not one of our ratcheting ones, so we're not gonna use it all the time. I have a grinder over there and I grinded away the top of the head so it could fit right here on the bolt. So now I'm able to actually get the head of the wrench on and turn it. This wrench barely fits on and it's able to turn. This T-fitting works for the oil drain on a T25, T28 turbo. This is a T3 turbo, so the markings right here in blue is where I need to drill out because that's where the R turbo fits on. If you can kind of see it, this is the gasket, but the T3, it's a little big, so I need to cut out that stuff that's blue with this drill bit. I'm just going to go on the sides and hopefully get it out. Straight up losing my hearing, but I cut a little bit of this off because when it went down and hit a part of the turbo, so it wouldn't be able to sit nice and flush. So this bad boy is going to go right up in here. For some reason, I could not get this like little T into the turbo when it was facing down, so I clocked it this way by undoing all these bolts and then taking off the bolts for the external wastegate so I could turn it to get on this T, and then I'm going to turn it back around and clock it just the way that it was after. I'm glad I did that because this way is stupid easy, and now I can make sure to actually tighten it down. A ratchet or a wrench, much easier because, you know, I am able to get it instead of hitting the block underneath there. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. This is the oil return line, and I had to chop off a few inches, so I actually took it off of the oil pan that we drilled, and I chopped off a few inches. Thank God I had this thing. Shout out to Mickey for giving me his grinder or hacksaw or whatever it's called because it's a huge help. So I've done something freaking sweet. If I wanted to, I don't think I'm going to just because I'd rather wait for the other guys, Mickey, Evan, that know what they're doing. But if I wanted to, I'm pretty sure I can turn on the car right now, crank it over, and we'd have oil going through the turbo. The thing I'm going to do first, though, even if I did turn on the car, I would prime it by pulling the fuel pump relay, trying to turn it over a few times just so we can get some oil in there first before we actually crank it over. This is how it's looking, man. It's freaking awesome. What we do need, technically, I could hook up all the intercooler piping right now. I don't know what I'm going to have daylight time. We'll see. But right after this, I'm going to be installing or wiring up the boost gauge because I haven't done that yet. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Super easy. It's just a power and ground. It's really nothing to show. So I'm just going to do it and then show you guys after. Moment of truth. Will the boost gauge turn on? No, it should turn on. Woo! Look at that. Let's go. That is bright, dude. That is super freaking bright. Goes up to about 30 pounds, and yeah, that's about it. Looking good. This is how our engine bay is looking, folks. There's some miscellaneous intercooler piping over here, but yeah, not looking too bad. We have so much freaking room. So an air filter is actually going to go right around here, I bet, or maybe even here. I'm not exactly sure yet. Intercooler piping still needs to be done. We need to get the V-band adapter welded to the downpipe to stick on. We have a boost controller that needs to be hooked up. I'm not exactly sure how to do that. There's a diagram, so when Mickey and Evan come over tomorrow, they'll help me with that. But yeah, other than that, there's not much to do other than we got to tune the car after too. There's a lot to do. Let's be real. There's going to be another day, another dollar, and another video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked today's video, if you liked me doing the work by myself, like, you know, I actually got stuff done today. I did a ton of stuff. Mounted the turbo onto the exhaust manifold. Found the oil feed line, mounted the oil feed line, got the oil drain hooked up, did the boost gauge, and yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys so much for watching. It really means the world. If you liked the video, like the video. If you didn't like the video, like the video. If you want to comment, please go for it. See you later. Bye.
I ain't got no problem spending all of my money.